5 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 37 out. Inbound Eden is 25 minutes. Lake Cook to the Junction, 19 out. Out to O'Hare and the Kennedy, 30 minutes, 35 in. The Eisenhower, 32 to Thorndale, 34 on the inbound trip. Downtown bridge lifts are scheduled to take place along the Chicago River, so expect traffic. Those last about 15 minutes. Traffic brought to you by Indianapolis Convention Visitors Association. Soar high in the sky at Conner Prairie Interactive Historic Park. Their Helium Balloon Voyage is just one of many unforgettable family experiences you'll enjoy. Plan your Indianapolis getaway at visitindy.com. The 89 WS Weather Channel forecast. Rest of the day sunny, 76. Clear tonight, low 54. Tomorrow sunny, high 79. It's 75 at O'Hare, 69 at the lakefront. Next report at 2:45 and 89 WS.
Get the news on the hour, the half, and when it breaks. Continuous coverage at WLSAM.com. I'm Jim Johnson, 89 WLS News.
On your way to work and on your way home, get traffic and weather first on the 5s when you need it most. 89 WLS.
Hey, don't forget, later today, we're going to have your chance to win VIP package for 2 to an evening of laughter and stories of Sinatra with Tom Dreesen, Sunday at CD&Me in Frankfurt. Package includes dinner, drinks, tickets, and a meet and greet. For more information on the show, visit cdandme.com. cdandme.com. All right, and I got to say, it'll be a lot of fun, and he's always a very dear friend of the show. That's coming up a little bit later in the program, and then tomorrow, something really... you're going to be shocked at what we're giving away tomorrow, too. So
Shocked? Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I will be, because I don't have the script in front of me. And you can get traffic and weather first on the 5s, mornings and afternoons at Chicago Stock Theater 89 WLS. Speaking of that, you hear him in the mornings here, John Dempsey, morning newsman here at WLSAM.
Hey, Ro.
Hello, John. And people don't call up and go, oh, there was a Dempseyism, do they?
No, not so much.
No.
But I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to increase the number of Dempseyisms so that I can get my own T-shirt just like Jim.
Nice.
Yeah, that's so true.
my goal in life.
That's true.
Shoot
Now,
for the stars.
Oh, boy.
Mr. Dempsey, you were sent, and this is tough business. You were sent to the governor's leadership meeting today, which is kind of like, saying we need you. It's like an oxymoron. We need you to go to figure out what the jumbo shrimp is for today. What was it? Where was it? What happened there?
Well, it was at the Thompson Center on the 16th floor, and Governor Pat Quinn convened, the meeting of the 4 legislative leaders to talk about the pension mess. And do you think it's interesting, Ro, that one day after a guy in Wisconsin takes on the public employee unions and erases a multi-billion-dollar deficit and then is rewarded by the voters, our leaders are still struggling with this $83 billion unfunded pension liability.
Jeez.
They thought they had a deal last week before the state legislative session adjourned, and then everything fell apart at the last minute. You remember that great video and audio of Mike Boss, the guy from downstate Murfreesboro, throwing the papers and actually punching the stack of papers. Well, that whole deal collapsed. So now they're trying to see if they can get back to the bargaining table, but they're still far apart on how to solve this mess.
Well, it's pretty clear they use tricks here. They try to trick people at the last minute. If they could just be honest, and I know it was pretty crazy up in Wisconsin. I mean, we covered all of that. They had the public employees unions, doing their sit-ins and marching on the Capitol and all. That's not going to happen in Springfield because A, people can't find it. B, including the governors. B, it's a different environment in Springfield than it is in Madison, Wisconsin, certainly. So it seems that they would be able to get a deal done here, and I think that you make an excellent point. This whole situation sucks, but we have gone through, and it started really in 2007, but in 2008 in earnest, when the meltdown in September of 2008. We hit the economic ice slid off the road in a way that we had not slid off the road since the Great Depression, and some could argue that this could be a 10-year pullout, similar in destructive nature to that. And there are no two ways around this. Everybody has to tighten their belt, and that's what happened in America in the 1930s, and then it led directly, and as a proximate result, to World War II. We're hopeful that nothing like that happens, but you never know. But this is it's going to take a long time to get out of this, and people got to make sacrifices, and that does include the public employee unions as well, and more so than they want to, and that's just the way it's going to have to be. Sorry.
Right. Well, one example of the everyone's got to tighten their belt is that Michael Madigan, the powerful Speaker of the Illinois House, wants to change the system that would have local suburban and downstate school districts would have to pay more for their teacher retirements. Right now, if you live in Schaumburg, the state of Illinois pays the entire cost of the Schaumburg teacher retirements.
Right, which does and they make the argument because in Chicago that's not the case.
Right,
in Chicago pays it.
Chicago pays for that, but in Schaumburg and in downstate they don't. And Madigan says that's not fair. And so we're going to have to change that and make the suburban and downstate school districts pay more. Now, the Republicans say, you can't do that because that'll make the property taxes in Schaumburg go up, and we can't have that. And Tom Cross, the Republican leader, said to me today, he doesn't even think Madigan is serious about this. He just thinks that Madigan threw that idea in there as what they call a poison pill, which is something that's designed to kill the legislation, because Madigan knew Republicans wouldn't vote for this idea to make the local schools pay more, so it killed it. And Cross doesn't think Madigan's sincere, and why isn't he? The obvious thing that we've heard from people for years now is that Madigan is beholden to the public employee unions, and he doesn't want to have them have to severely cut back on their benefits. Some of these benefits, obviously in Illinois, we've read the stories by Mark Sapelsa and the great staff at the Tribune, all of these abuses of the pension system. And the argument by the Republicans is that Madigan is beholden to these unions and really doesn't want to do anything that would upset them.
All right, John, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Did anything come back? Did anything come out of there? Did they walk out yet?
They walked out. Yeah, the meeting is over. They said they're going to meet again in 2 weeks. The only real thing to come of this meeting is that Pat Quinn, who's trying to be positive about this whole thing, says we're going to try to get some exact figures on the table so we can see how this Madigan plan to make these school districts pay more, how that exactly would affect the economies and the local property taxes. And so now the next step is to get those figures on the table. Then they're going to meet again in 2 weeks.
All right. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, John.
Take care.
One of the great ironies of this, though, is, you often hear conservatives talk about in terms of funding of schools, they say, they don't like the national funding of it. They don't like the Department of Education. They like to get rid of that. They don't like they like the local communities to be more involved and less about the state and state control, and let the local communities do it until it comes to paying for it.
Yeah.
And then it's sort of like, who's going to pay? Why did you guys pay for it?
Well, Ro, very quickly, too, what John didn't realize about that leadership meeting at the Thompson Center, it started about 2 hours late, because first they went in there and they went downstairs and tried to get their license renewed. Then they kind of wandered around in the food court. Then they found themselves back out on Clark Street. Then Quinn was saying, I think we're supposed to take the elevator. Then they got caught on the escalator. So it took them a while to get to the 16th floor. But they eventually all made their way up there with the help of some leadership.
Is it hot up here? Is anybody else hot up here? I can't turn the air conditioning on. I don't know what's going on. It's like a big sort of...
They had a 1 hour discussion. What does Governor Thompson call the Thompson Center? Was the first point of order. What does he call it? My Center? The Me Center?
Stay right here.
89 WA.